train didn't derail. It didn't stop suddenly. It didn't crash. It simply arrived at Platform 3 in Sapporo Station, opened its doors like every other night, and then every single passenger inside was gone before anyone could step on. Not missing in the usual sense. Not hiding. Not scattered. Gone in a way that made the security footage hard to even watch twice. Because on camera the train looked completely normal. Doors open, lights on, announcement playing. But the platform itself was empty in the exact same frame. No one exiting, no footsteps, no movement. Just an arriving train that never actually brought anyone with it. The strangest part wasn't what happened once. It was that it kept happening again. And again. Always at Sapporo Station. Always Platform 3. Always late at night. The first official report came from a station attendant named Takeda, who had worked the night shift for almost 9 years without a single unusual incident. That changed on a winter evening when a delayed express train pulled into the station at 11:13 p.m. The train arrived. Doors opened. Takeda stood at the far end of the platform, as he always did, waiting for passengers to exit before checking the carriage. But nobody came out. That's when he saw the conductor still inside the cabin, sitting perfectly upright, hands on the controls, staring straight ahead. Takeda waved. No response. The cabin lights flickered once. Then, according to Takeda, the entire train sounded like it exhaled. A low mechanical noise like metal releasing tension. And then, every light inside the train turned off at the exact same time. When the emergency systems kicked in seconds later, the train was still there, but now it was empty. Takeda reported it immediately. At first, management assumed it was a misunderstanding, until they checked the station logs. That was where the real problem started. 2 passengers waiting on Platform 2 swore they saw people inside the windows. One of them even described a woman in a red coat pressing her hand against the glass, like she was trying to get someone's attention. But the footage showed no such woman, just reflections, empty seats, static lighting. That should have been the end of it. But Sapporo Station started developing a pattern. Every few nights, Platform 3 would receive a train that behaved normally on arrival, but never carried anyone in any verifiable record. And yet witnesses kept insisting otherwise. The station began calling it an inventory mismatch, a bureaucratic term meant to soften something that didn't make sense. But employees stopped using that phrase privately. A junior rail worker named Minoru was assigned to observe Platform 3 after the third incident. He was told it was just a procedural check. Stay on the platform, watch the arrivals, report anything unusual. At 1:10 a.m., a local commuter train arrived. Minoru stood close to the yellow safety line, watching carefully. The train doors opened. A handful of passengers were visible inside. Minoru clearly remembered this part because one of them was a man in a dark suit standing near the door, holding a plastic bag, looking tired. The station was quiet. Too quiet. No one got off immediately. Then Minoru heard it. A sound like a faint announcement repeating, but not through the speakers. Then exactly at 1 minute, the lights inside the train flickered, just once. And in that instant, Minoru saw something that made him step back without realizing it. Every passenger inside the carriage was still there, but they were all sitting perfectly still, not moving, not blinking, not reacting. He reported it, and that was his last shift at Sapporo Station. He resigned the next day without explanation. When colleagues tried to contact him later, his phone number was disconnected, and his apartment was found empty. It said, "Don't stay on platform 3 after the lights flicker twice." After that, management began rotating staff more frequently, but the incidents didn't stop. They escalated. Sometimes announcements would lag behind reality. Sometimes Platform 3 would display arrivals that didn't exist on any schedule. And sometimes, employees began noticing something even worse. The station itself was subtly changing. It was as if Sapporo Station was becoming uncertain about its own shape. One night, a senior attendant named Kobayashi decided to break protocol. He wanted to see what was actually happening inside one of these deleted trains. At first, everything felt normal. The interior smelled like metal, dust, and winter air. Passengers were seated quietly. The man didn't react, didn't even shift weight. That's when Kobayashi noticed something off. Their eyes weren't closed. They were open, but unfocused. Then the announcement system crackled. "Sapporo Station, next stop." It stopped mid-sentence. The lights flickered, once, twice, and the train doors closed. But the handles weren't mechanical anymore. They felt sealed, like they were never designed to open in the first place. Then the train began moving. The platform was still there, but duplicated. 2 platform 3s overlapping each other at slightly different angles. One empty, one filled with people standing perfectly still, all facing the train, watching, waiting. Kobayashi later appeared outside the station 5 hours later, standing at the main entrance, soaking wet despite no rain, unresponsive. They don't delete trains, they delete what the trains contain. After that, Sapporo Station implemented a formal investigation. Engineers checked rails, signals, electrical systems. Nothing was wrong. Everything functioned normally. Nothing was wrong. Everything functioned normally, which somehow made it worse. Because the problem wasn't mechanical, it was selective. Only Platform 3, only certain trains, only certain nights, and only when the station reached what staff began calling low stability hours. It involved a maintenance worker named Saito. Saito had worked rail systems across Hokkaido for over 20 years. He was not easily disturbed. At first, everything felt normal. The interior smelled like metal, dust, and winter air. Passengers were seated quietly. The man didn't react, didn't even shift weight. That's when Kobayashi noticed something off. Their eyes weren't closed. They were open, but unfocused. Then the announcement system crackled. "Sapporo Station, next stop." It stopped mid-sentence. The lights flickered once, twice, and the train doors closed. The train is moving while still inside the station. Outside the window, Platform 3 does not stay still. It repeats, like a frame being copied and pasted too many times. When the footage resumes hours later, Saito is standing alone inside the station. The train is gone. But Platform 3 is wet, not with water, but with something that looks like condensation that never evaporates. Some say everything is normal now. Others refuse to speak at all. But passengers who transfer late at night sometimes report something strange. When they stand too long near Platform 3 during the final departures, they feel a brief flicker in their surroundings, like the station is buffering, and for half a second, they can see another version of it. Empty, silent, with a train already inside, waiting.